can try and win championships, and that's what it's all about. When you look from the outside and you watch this team, I know we're going to have a real good, solid hockey team this year.
Welcome back to Fireside Rangers. I'm your host, Anthony Rivardo, joined by my co-host here, Eric Wilson. And today we're going to be recapping and analyzing the Rangers' second preseason game that came up short 3-2 against the Boston Bruins, an overtime loss for our New York Rangers. But a couple of pretty crucial performances, key performances from some of these players competing for basically a spot in the lineup in general. So we're going to dive into all of that, discuss obviously the injury to Alexis Lafreniere. He got hurt on a slap shot. We'll give you the update on that. But before we dive into all of this good stuff, Eric, how are you doing today?
Doing good. Sad to see that we're back away from each other, but we'll be back soon once the hurricane's over. I had to stay back, hold down the frat home while Anthony had to go take care of his family, but that doesn't mean that we can't talk hockey. We're here conducting business as usual. But yeah, I'm ready.
Here to talk hockey, not going to stop, especially now with preseason in full swing. The regular season only a couple of weeks away, less than a couple of weeks away. So we're ready to just ramp up the content here on Fireside Rangers. So make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel. But let's go ahead and dive into the Alexis Lafreniere injury right now. Quote from Alexis Lafreniere, fine, no issue. Or that's from the Rangers on Alexis Lafreniere. He did get hit on a slap shot, and it seemed to be kind of a serious injury for a moment. He was talking about his leg was hurting him on the sideline, but it looks like there's going to be no repercussions of it. Looks like it's not going to be anything long-term. He's completely fine. So, Eric, what are your thoughts on that, and what is your reaction to Alexis Lafreniere walking away unscathed?
Yeah. I mean, when it first happened, I was very scared. He took that shot to his foot. And I was like, oh, there he goes, broken foot. He's done. It's kind of something similar to what happened to Ryan Lindgren last season where we didn't see him for a while in the playoffs. And it was even scarier because, Lafreniere was telling his trainer, just going like, my foot, like over and over again. But it's very good to see that he's okay. Lafreniere has he played great last night as well. So it's very good to see him healthy, and hopefully he'll be able to play in the next preseason game. Maybe take a game or two off, and he should be back for opening night, definitely. So it's definitely good news to hear.
Yeah, he should definitely be back for opening night. The Rangers said that they don't expect any further issue. Kind of seems like it was something that keeps him out of this game, maybe the next preseason game. But I think opening night, we should expect to see Alexis Lafreniere likely playing on that first line at that right wing spot. But let's go ahead real quickly, Eric, and talk about the goalies, because Yaroslav Halak played a pretty significant amount of time. He stopped 14 of 15 shots, a pretty decent performance from him. And then Louis Domingue made 19 saves on 21 shots. What are your thoughts on right now the current situation of, basically the goalies behind Igor Shesterkin? Igor didn't play last night. He played great the game beforehand, but last night they turned it over to Yaroslav Halak, Louis Domingue, and both of them played pretty decently. What are your thoughts on that and your reaction basically to seeing Yaroslav Halak step up and be that veteran quality backup goalie that we expected him to be?
I mean, I think Halak especially played very well. The one goal that he let in, again, it's like one of those things where it wasn't exactly his fault. It was just like a very just poor play all around from the team. So just to see him playing well, only letting in one goal, stopping pretty much all of his shots, it gives me like a good feeling heading to the season, because even though we do have Louis Domingue, do expect Halak to be our backup for the season. Probably won't see Domingue at all unless Igor or Halak gets injured. And then Domingue, on the other hand, he's kind of like a meme in the NHL world. I was laughing a lot when we signed him, but he played pretty solid as well. And I feel confident in our backups. Obviously, Igor is the GOAT, and he's going to play most of our games and carry our team, make us a lot better than we probably should be. But if we do need to rely on Halak, seeing him play last night as well as he did, it makes me confident in our goaltending all around.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with that. Yaroslav Halak, again, really solid performance. But the next up, I want to talk about Jimmy Vesey, because Jimmy Vesey is a player that obviously signed to a PTO, professional tryout. The Rangers, they signed him this offseason, and you and I discussed it, Eric. What could his role be? Does he really have a shot at making the team? It seems like he's forcing the Rangers' hand here. Like, they're going to have to give him a roster spot if he keeps playing this way. He recorded 2 assists in under 20 minutes of action, 19 minutes and 24 seconds last night, coming off of also a very successful Game 1 performance as well. He's been killing it in the preseason. He's looked really good all summer long. This seems to be a really quality signing by the New York Rangers. But, Eric, what are your thoughts on Jimmy Vesey? Do you think he's making the lineup? And if so, whose position did he just steal?
I think there's a very good chance that he makes the team. I've been very skeptical about him throughout this entire offseason, and at this point, I'm like ready to just bite my words and just be like, yeah, I want him on my team. He scored a goal in the first game, notched 2 assists this just last night, and yeah, he's great. The key word that we've always talked about throughout this offseason was depth, and he kind of seems like having Jimmy Vesey on the team will be proper depth if he continues this play up for a while. So I definitely think he would be slotted on the fourth line. Now he's like a smaller guy. I don't know if he would replace like Reeves, because Reeves has like that physicality to his game. It could probably say Dryden Hunt might kiss his job goodbye, but I don't know. You kind of got to just see how the rest of the preseason plays out, and we'll just see what happens. But VC has been playing phenomenally the last 2 games, and he's probably been one of the most impressive New York Rangers that we've seen throughout the last 2 games.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think he's playing at a really high level. Some people are saying, yeah, maybe he'll take Hunt's spot, maybe Reeves' spot. Some people are even throwing out there, maybe he'll go ahead and take Kravtsov's spot, which is pretty interesting. Kravtsov is a player that, we've discussed a lot on this channel over the past couple months. We think that he could potentially have an impact, but some people are a little bit unimpressed with his performance thus far in the preseason. He's had his moments, but overall, a little underwhelming. I thought that in this game last night, he did play a whole lot better than he did in the first game, especially in the 5v5 portion of the game. But Eric, what are your thoughts on that? Could you potentially see Vitaly Kravtsov lose his job to Jimmy Vesey?
I don't know if he would lose his job completely. He might lose his spot on the third line as we've projected, possibly, and then Kravtsov down on the fourth. But who knows what's going through Gerard Gallant's mind right now? He makes the final calls. We love Jimmy Vesey. He probably does too, but who knows what he's thinking about Kravtsov. I personally like Kravtsov. I'm willing to give him another chance, even though he has been a slight bit underwhelming this preseason. We know that he has done really well during training camp as well. There's like all these different events throughout the offseason that collectively will determine your fate, And plus, it has only been 2 games, hasn't played in the NHL in a while. It might take him a little while to get back into the swing of things. So I would say we might be jumping the gun a little bit to say that he could just take his job. But, this could just be the start of something along those lines.
Yeah, for sure. And I want to transition and talk about Vincent Trocheck. Obviously, that was a marquee signing for the New York Rangers this offseason. Big signing for them, 7-year deal. He's that 2C that we desperately needed. Of course, Eric and I celebrated really hard when we got wind that Ryan Strome was on his way out. No more Ryan Strome as the second-line center. Vincent Trocheck stepping in as the second-line center. He had a really solid performance last night. He recorded an assist. He won 63% of his draws. Pretty solid performance from him. He looked good, and I think that's something that all Rangers fans should be really excited about, seeing, second line center playing at a high level, having a solid performance. So, Eric, what are your thoughts on Vincent Trocheck as we, see him play in the preseason, but really ramping up towards that regular season, him as the 2C? How confident are you that he's going to be that difference maker on the Rangers lines?
I'm extremely confident. We always knew that Trocheck was going to come in and just change the whole dynamic of the team, but finally seeing it like happen in action made me very happy. An assist in his first game, 63% of his faceoffs won. That's extremely impressive. I've always been very critical about the New York Rangers offense throughout my entire life, is that we always have really great forwards, but we never win faceoff. We're just throughout the last 10 years a historically bad faceoff team. And you can't win games if you don't have control of the puck. So just to see 63%, that is an extremely high number. And if you were to keep that up throughout the whole season, that'd be amazing. Ryan Strome could never. And you're just considering the fact that Trocheck is doing this. I don't remember exactly what the lines were from last night, but he didn't play next to Panarin. He didn't play next to Kako, as we're projecting him to do in the regular season. So he's playing this well, which is a bunch of random guys. When that all-star lineup gets set for game 1 of the season, it's going to be the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. I hate Ryan Strome. I'm so happy that we have Trocheck now.
Absolutely, man. I think he's going to be a huge difference maker. We talk about how the Rangers made it all the way deep to game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals. It was anybody's game at that point, but they came up short. But we also know that there was a game that they easily could have won had Ryan Strome not missed a wide open net. wide open scoring opportunities. So Mr. Trocheck, we're hoping, can actually convert those opportunities into points. And he's already getting active in the preseason, as you mentioned, playing alongside guys that he's not even going to be playing alongside in the regular season. But Eric, I know that the faceoffs are something that we talked about in the offseason, keys to a more successful New York Rangers season in 2022. You mentioned faceoffs on that list, and you also mentioned the power play. I know you have some stats for the Rangers on the power play and on the faceoffs from last night's game. And I want to get your thoughts on how the Rangers played in both of those facets of the game.
All right, yeah. I mean, just to read this off right here, last night the Rangers won 51.9% of the faceoffs, which isn't like that overwhelming of like against Boston. It was we only beat them by like 2%. But just to see like the fact that the Rangers have the glowing stat right there on faceoff percentage makes me happy, you know. I can't imagine like couldn't tell you the amount of times I've looked at those stats and just be like, oh, the Rangers lost like every single face-off in the game. Just to see that makes me happy. Also, last night, the Rangers power play did go 0 for 4. That was not successful whatsoever. But, you know, the Bruins are a very good defensive team. You also do have to factor that in. And the Rangers did pick up, it was like 1 or 2 power play goals in the first game against the Islanders, which is a very big key to our success. Last season, the Rangers had one of the best power plays in the league. I can't remember if it was top 5 or not, but it was definitely top 10 in the league. And our penalty kill is also very good too. Throughout these 2 games, the Rangers have not let up a single power play goal against them. And a big piece of that, in my opinion, is the fact that in both games, both Capo Caco and Alexis Lafreniere have gotten to have penalty kill time. We did not see that much throughout their careers so far. And just to see them getting time to kill penalties and being very good at it makes me happy. It means they're going to get more ice time on the penalty kill and the power play on these special teams. And that can only help their development even more.
Absolutely. And I think, you know, you kind of mentioned room for improvement in game 3. Of course, the Rangers off tonight, no practice, but tomorrow, game 3 of the preseason against the New Jersey Devils on Thursday night on MSG. So we'll of course give you the updates on that, recap that game after that one occurs, and give you all the highlights and analysis and recap of it. So, but yeah, as you mentioned, you know, the power play, we'll have to see if the Rangers can improve their power play against the Devils on Thursday night. But make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy this episode. Comment down below, what are your thoughts on the game? What are your thoughts going into the next game versus the Devils? And make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel. We've got a ton of New York Rangers content coming your way throughout the regular season. And yeah, ring the bell so you don't miss a video, and we'll catch you all in the next one. Have a good one, and let's go Rangers.
Let's go Rangers!
He shoots.